He's a Florida man, Lou! Who have Georgia played? Woo. Good morning, it's Uncle Lou here. Yep, that's right. It is me, Uncle Lou, live on LouTube for you. Welcome to week 3 of the 2023 college football season. Got underway Thursday night, couple of games last night. We'll go over those in a few minutes. And, of course, a full slate of games coming up today. And we're going to talk about it all. How's everybody doing? Y'all hanging in there? Y'all doing okay? Are we sure? Good. Great. All right, coming up today, we will go through today's list of games. We'll figure out what's coming on, when it's coming on, what channel it's coming on, what we need to watch, all that kind of stuff. We're going to look at some upsets. Everybody seems to be talking about upsets this week. Upsets happen every week. I think people are making a bigger deal about the upsets this week because there aren't any great games this week. So they're hyping up upsets because there's no great games to talk about. But there's upsets every week. We all know that. Knowing that's not hard. Trying to figure out which games will be the upsets. That's sometimes the hard part. But we'll do like everybody else and try to pick out a couple of upsets today. How's everybody doing? Are y'all ready for a great day of football? I am. Live stream scheduled today, of course, right now. The college football kickoff show. Talk about today's games for a couple hours. Coming up at 3:30, I will be live right here on this channel. We will live stream during all the 3:30 games. We'll pull up the schedule in a minute and take a look at all the games that are on at 3:30 that we can hang out and watch. I know Georgia and South Carolina is at 3:30. We'll take a look at the entire schedule here in a second. And then for the Patreon stream today, that will be prime time. Now, the Tennessee-Florida game starts at 7. And I'm pretty sure that's why the Patreon people voted for primetime this week. But the 3:30 games likely will not be over by 7. So I will start the Patreon stream basically when the 3:30 games end. Or the Georgia-South Carolina game, I guess, primarily. So whether that's 7, 6:45, 7:15, 7:30, whatever time the Georgia-South Carolina game ends, I'll shut that stream down. We'll fire up the Patreon stream, and we'll hang out and watch all the primetime games. Everybody that's a member over on the Patreon page, unless you're brand new, you should know how it works. But I will post a link on the Patreon page about 5 or 10 minutes before I go live. You just head over to the Patreon page around 7, 7:15, 7:30, whatever. You'll see it'll be the first post there. You'll see it. It'll be a link. Just click the link, and it will take you to the Patreon stream for the primetime games. If you're not signed up on the Patreon page, first of all, what are you doing? Second of all, the link is in the description of this video, I believe. Let's look and see. Yes, it is. Just click that link. It will take you over to the Patreon page. You can have yourself a look around, and if you decide you want to get signed up, welcome to the club. We have a good time on those Patreon streams. And, again, live on YouTube at 3:30 today. So, 2 game streams today, one on YouTube, one on Patreon. All right, happy Saturday. Or how are my Alabama people doing? How are my Alabama people doing today? Managed to secure my very own gold pacifier with an Alabama A on it. Shout out to the Alabama players running around with pacifiers in their fucking mouths. I still don't understand it. No one has explained it to me. Even if they did, I don't see where, as it would make much sense to me. But I did go ahead and get my very own gold Alabama pacifier, just like our boy Binky Williams has for Alabama. Shout out to Alabama. Any Alabama news over the last couple of days? I mean, I know they lost last week, but I mean, is there any Alabama news? Anything I need to be aware of as it pertains to Alabama? Any news that we might have heard over the last 24 hours or so? Tyler Buchner? No. No. No, 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 no. Tyler Buchner can't be starting. Tyler Buchner can't be starting. The Alabama fans assured me when they went to the transfer portal and got Tyler Buchner that there was no way Tyler Buchner was starting, that he was going to be third string and he's just an absolute emergency option. There's no way. Obviously y'all are misinformed. There's just no way Tyler Buchner is starting. Literally every Alabama fan on the planet that has an internet connection has spent the last 4 months telling me that there's no way Tyler Buchner is starting. So I don't know where y'all are getting your fake news from, but there's just no way that's true. There's no way that's true. That would be the equivalent of Alabama and Nick Saban just throwing in the towel on the season and just giving up already in week 3. There's just no way they would do that. There's no way. So y'all are clearly making that up. Tyler fucking Buchner. Wow. On the road at South Florida? Okay. All right. Whatever. Man. They going to move Mildew to running back since they don't have any decent ones? College game day underway, and for absolutely zero reason at all, they're live in Boulder, Colorado for a Power 5 versus Group of 5 matchup. Makes little to no sense. I've been scratching my head for a few days on this one. I can't figure it out. Got no idea why they would go there. It's kind of silly and sad, honestly. And I blame Florida. If Florida were even a halfway decent program, game day would be in Florida today for the Tennessee-Florida game. But Florida's not a halfway decent program. They're an absolute train wreck and a disaster. And so game day would rather travel all the way across the country to the mountains to a totally irrelevant game with two teams that really don't matter, one of them being a Group of 5 team. That's how bad Florida is. That's just sad. Pitiful, too. It's just sad. And pitiful. Florida has really let down the college football world here today. So, yeah. Shout out to Shane Beamer. Pretty sure he's watching this morning. How you doing, Shane? Shane Beamer's making his last-minute notes for tonight's comedy show, which will take place about 15 minutes after the game ends in the press room underneath Sanford Stadium. Don't miss it. You don't want to miss it. All right, let's take roll. Let's see who's here hanging out. Then we're going to get started. We're going to here's what we'll do today. We're going to take a look at we're going to pull up the schedule of games, go through them, figure out what's coming on, when it's coming on, what channel it's coming on, what we need to watch, when we need to watch it, all that kind of stuff. We'll do that first. Then we will take a look at the latest odds. Try to figure out if there's any type of way we can make or lose some money today betting on these college football games. And then I want to try to pick out a couple of upsets, not underdogs with the points. I mean, trying to pick out 2 or 3 games maybe where underdogs have a legitimate shot to win. And we got to find something at least in the 7 to 10 point range. I mean, you're still an underdog even if you're a 1-point underdog, but you know, when it comes to picking upsets, we're going to go out on a limb, at least in the 7 to 10 point range. We'll try to pick out a couple of games that could possibly result in some upsets today. We'll do that. Of course, we got to talk about what we're eating today. And I'll give you a hint. Georgia's playing the Game Chickens today. And so just like every year when Georgia plays the Game Chickens, Uncle Lou will be eating some form of chicken today. I'll let you know what that is here in a little bit. Oh, I do want to let you know there is Huffer Billy Paw in here. Huffer Billy Paw, good morning, asshole. Shout out to you, sir. You inspired Uncle. My phone went off a couple of days ago. It was a message from my friend Huffer Billy Paw. And no, it wasn't a message about whether or not he should split tens at the blackjack table. No, wasn't that. It was a picture of Huffer Billy Paw out to eat at some type of restaurant type place with a giant plate of oysters, and you inspired Uncle Lou, sir. I went out last night and had myself some oysters. Thank you, Hufferbilly Paul, for the inspiration and honestly the motivation to go outside of my house for at least long enough to go eat some dinner. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. So, yeah, got myself some oysters last night, which was great. So, yeah, we'll talk about the game day food. Shout out to Lou Jr. Now, my son, Lou Jr., plays soccer. He has played soccer since he was about 5 years old. He plays for his school, and he plays on a traveling club that plays a lot of games in Georgia, South Carolina, North Carolina mostly. Shout out to my son, Lou Jr. Now, keeping in mind that he's a huge soccer fan. Colby, are you in here? I know Colby's a big soccer fan, too. Keeping in mind that my son is a huge soccer fan, guess where he's going today? Guess where he's going today? Anybody got any idea? No? That's right. He's going to the Atlanta United game to see them take on Inter Miami. That's the good news. That's the good news. The bad news, Messi's not playing. Messi's not playing. That's the bad news. I feel bad for Lou Jr. Now, he's going to have a great time anyway. He loves going to the Atlanta United games. We've gone to some. He's actually going with one of his friends today, and his friend's dad. But I've taken him to some Atlanta United games. They're a lot of fun either way, but it is a little disappointing. It is a little disappointing. This would be, if you were going to go to one Atlanta United home game this year, this would be the one you would want to go to, hoping you could possibly see Lionel Messi. But unfortunately, Lionel Messi's not playing today. So I do feel bad for Lou Jr. that he won't get to see Messi, but he'll have a good time. He's with one of his best friends, and they both just absolutely love soccer. So they'll still have a great time, but still a little disappointing. This would be like getting tickets to see the Atlanta Hawks play the Chicago Bulls in 1998, and then the day of the game finding out Michael Jordan wasn't playing. You know what I'm saying? For those of you that don't care about soccer, which is the overwhelming majority of you, yet for some reason I've been going on about it for 5 or 6 minutes. But Lionel Messi, a lot of people consider Lionel Messi one of, if not the greatest soccer players of all time. Of course, he's European, but he plays for Inter Miami now. So a lot of people are going to get a chance to see him who otherwise never would be able to, including Lou Jr., unfortunately. Like I said, Messi not playing today. Now, for my money, Ronaldo. I would take Ronaldo in his prime over Messi in his prime. That's just me. Colby likes to argue with me about it. You can argue with your mama about it if you want to, but I would take Ronaldo in his prime over Messi in his prime. And as far as today goes, if I was starting my own soccer club today, go ahead and give me Mbappe. That's who I would take. I would go ahead and take Mbappe there. Yeah. Messi is a khaki man, Lou? No, Messi's not khaki. Stop it. Messi is not khaki. You stop that right now. He's Spanish, dummy. Stop it. Spencer Rattler is khaki. Did anybody cancel me yet with my Spencer Rattler comments or no? Have I been canceled yet? Is this live right now? Or have I been taken off the air? Yeah. What do we got here? What is it? What do we got here? Let me see. Yeah. Yep. Yep, it's confirmed. Khaki. It's not an insult. It's an observation. It's not an insult. It's a observation. All right, yeah. So let's get back on track here. So we're going to go through the day's games. What's coming on? When is it coming on? What channel is it coming on? What do we need to watch today? We're going to take a look at the latest odds, lines, try to figure out a way to make some money or lose some money betting on these college football games. We're going to try to pick out some upsets, 2 or 3 of them at least. We are going to talk about what we're eating today. And then, of course, the rigged wheel. Yeah. Now, several of you have already sent in for the rigged wheel. Just like normal, we're going to add all the names to the rigged wheel at the same time at the end of the show so that I don't spend half the show going back and forth between the show and the rigged wheel. If you don't know what the rigged wheel is, where have you been? I don't know. It's the hottest scam going on the internet, according to some people in the comment section that think it's rigged. Of course, it's not rigged. It's completely random. But anyway, if you would like to support the channel or the Saturday morning kickoff show, Super Chat and PayPal and Cash App are 3 great ways to do it. Any PayPal or Cash App, I can't do it with the Super Chats, but any Cash App or PayPal that you send today will get your name added to the rigged wheel. And then at the end of the show, we spin the rigged wheel. It randomly chooses a name. Whichever name it chooses, I will send you your money back. And you get to pick any game you want today against the spread. And if you get it right, I'll send you back double. That's how that works. The rigged wheel. So a chance for somebody to make some money while helping to support the Uncle Lou channel and the college football kickoff show. It's just a win-win situation, unless you lose. But y'all have done pretty good this year on the rigged wheel. Now, unfortunately, last week's winner did not get the game right. I believe they took Vandy and the points against Wake Forest, and unfortunately, Vandy did not cover. However, y'all did win the first 2 weeks, so y'all are 2-1, 2-1 on the rigged wheel, which is pretty good. Especially compared to how y'all have done the last couple of years, which honestly has been absolutely horrendous. So y'all are off to a good start this year, 2-1. We'll see how y'all do. We'll see how y'all do today. All right, real quick. Thursday night, Miami played at home in front of about 13 people. It was one of the saddest home attendance situations I've ever seen in college football for a top 25 team. It was just embarrassing. And to all the people that keep commenting, telling me it was Bethune-Cookman, who gives a shit? Who cares? What does that matter? The only thing that who you're playing should affect in terms of attendance is the price of the tickets. That's it. Shouldn't affect whether the game is sold out. Miami's been in the toilet for 20 years outside of one good year with Mark Richt in 2017. They've just been in the absolute toilet. They're off to a good start. They got a big win at home over Texas A&M in front of a half-empty stadium. I don't understand when the Miami fans are going to... They're all over the internet, and they have been for years, but they won't go to a game, and it's just the weirdest thing. Now, if you live in Timbuktu somewhere and you just happen to be a Miami fan, obviously I don't expect you to travel 3, 4, 5 states to go see them play Bethune-Cookman. But come on. Come on. Miami's a major metropolitan area. They can't fill up the Dolphins Stadium for a college football game. And look, here's the other thing. It's not like Miami's stadium that they rent from the Dolphins is one of these huge college football stadiums like Georgia or Bama or Tennessee or Michigan or Ohio State that holds 95,000 plus people. It holds 65,000. That's it. It holds 65,000 people. That puts it on the small end of major college football program stadiums to begin with. And they can't sell the thing out. It's pitiful. It's sad. Who's Bethune-Cookman? Yeah, I know. That means the tickets were $2 a piece. I mean, shit. Homeless people could have went to that game. Don't make no sense. But Miami did win 48-7 over Bethune-Cookman. Memphis beat Navy in a pretty good game. Memphis 28, Navy 24. And then last night we had one Power 5 matchup, Maryland versus Virginia. Is this alarming for Tennessee, yes or no? Maryland's not a great team. They're a decent team, probably not even a top 25 team. They beat Virginia almost the exact same score that Tennessee did. Is that alarming, yes or no? Is that alarming for the Tennessee man, yes or no? Maryland beats Virginia 42-14. What was the score of that Tennessee-Virginia game? It was something similar. 49-13. So Tennessee scored basically one more touchdown than Maryland. So Tennessee's basically a little bit better than Maryland if we do the whole transitive property deal like y'all tried to do to me last year when Georgia beat Mizzou 26-22, and that meant we weren't winning another game for the rest of the season. Just wondering if that applies to Tennessee now as they get set, of course, to take on Florida today, a game that they should win by 30. A game that they should win by 30. Now, I'm not going to clown Tennessee. Tennessee wins by 1 point. Great. I'm not going to, it's going to be point and laugh at Florida. Just because Tennessee doesn't win by 30, I'm not going to clown them or knock them or anything else. They win the game by 1 point. They win the game by 1 point. They should beat them by 30, but we'll see. But whoever loses this game is getting laughed at by me, and it's going to be the funniest possible outcome is Tennessee losing. Because Tennessee doesn't have any business losing to this team. None. Zero. So that's the funniest possible outcome. Anyway, we'll get to the games. We're getting ahead of ourselves. Army beat UTSA 37-29. Utah State lost to the Air Force Academy. Air Force undefeated, I believe, at 3-0. 39-21. Air Force takes care of Utah State. All right, let's take a look at today's games. What channel are they coming on? What time are they coming on? Keep in mind my live stream schedule today. I will be live streaming all the 3:30 games right here on YouTube. So when we get to the 3:30 games, we'll take a look at what games I'll be streaming during the 3:30 time slot, and then the Patreon stream will be the primetime games tonight. But let's start off with some noon games. Florida State traveling a long way here to take on Boston College, 12 o'clock on ABC. Boston College might be, they're one of the 5 worst, I think, Power 5 teams in the country. I'm not sure they're on a Virginia level. Look, the ACC is just a complete disaster. Okay, let's just call it what it is. Clemson's in the toilet. They got blown out by Duke. That's the only thing that's been keeping the ACC's head above water. Now they're drowning. They've only got 4 teams ranked in the top 25. I mean, it's just absolute poverty for the ACC, and they've got 2 of the worst teams in America with Boston College and Virginia. Florida State should absolutely roll here. Penn State on the road at Illinois. I still think this has the potential to be a good game. This one comes on 12 o'clock on Fox. It's a little less exciting now than it would have been had Illinois not lost to Kansas last week, which they did. This is still going to be, I think, the toughest test so far for new Penn State quarterback Drew Allar, who I've been impressed with early in the season. I've been impressed with Penn State in general. Now, like a lot of other teams, Michigan, Georgia, Ohio State, Southern Cal, you got a list of top 10 teams that really have not been tested yet. In Georgia's case, they haven't even played a Power 5 opponent. I think we'll find out a little bit more about some of these top 10 teams today, starting maybe here with Penn State, Drew Allar's first real test on the road at Illinois. We'll see how that goes, 12 o'clock on Fox. LSU on the road at Mississippi State. This is a game that a lot of people have circled as a possible upset today. We'll talk about some possible upsets here in a little bit. I don't see it. I'll just tell you now, I think LSU probably wins this game comfortably. I just think they're a way better team than Mississippi State. And I told you guys, when LSU lost in week 1 to Florida State, when something like that happens, you kind of come away from the game feeling one of 2 ways. You either say, well, man, I guess LSU ain't nowhere near as good as we thought they were. Or you go, wow, Florida State is legit. And that's how I came away from that game thinking, wow, Florida State's legit. I still think LSU is and can be a really good team this year. It's just that Florida State is that much better. If you go back and look over the last however many years in college football, there's a pretty significant gap a lot of times between, let's say, the top 4, 5, 6 teams, something like that, and the next 5 or 6 teams. It could be that LSU's in that next group of 5 or 6 teams. It could be that at the end of the year, LSU is ranked somewhere, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, kind of like a Tennessee from last year, that kind of final ranking, something like that. We don't know that, but I'm just saying I wouldn't throw LSU away just because they got beat by Florida State. I think Florida State's a really good team. I think they go on the road today and beat Mississippi State, but we'll see. Kansas State on the road at Missouri. This line keeps going more and more in Missouri's favor. Another one that I really don't understand. I would expect Kansas State to show up and win that game. Liberty at Buffalo. Louisville at Indiana. Indiana, I don't know. Does Indiana have a defense? Is that why they held Ohio State to 23 in week 1 and no touchdown passes? Or was Ohio State just, trying to figure shit out? Find out today. They host Louisville. A lot of ACC versus Big Ten games today. I believe there are 6 games today. ACC versus Big Ten. Not sure what's going on with that. Wake Forest at Old Dominion. Long Island at Baylor. Iowa State at Ohio. Central Connecticut at Kent State. North Dakota at Boise State. Utah finally gets a break. Utah 2-0 with 2 Power 5 wins. There's only 2 teams in the country that have 2 Power 5 wins. Utah and Colorado. That's it. So I guess we can say whatever we want about the Pac-12 and talk shit about Utah or Colorado if we want to. But they're the only 2 teams in the country with the balls to schedule 2 Power 5 opponents in the first 2 weeks and beat them. Utah and Colorado both 2-0 with 2 wins over Power 5 teams. Utah gets a bit of a break today. They host Weber State. VMI at NC State. NC State coming off that loss to Notre Dame last week. Don't forget to tune into the CW Network at 2. Look, I've ranted on this before. Never this specifically. These college football games that come on at random times, I don't know what type of TV network executive programming type people are coming up with this shit. But first of all, number one, college football has never been on the CW network, okay? So college football fans, when they're getting ready to decide what games they're watching in a given day, they're not generally checking the TV guide and going to CW network to see what games are coming on that channel that day. So you're already at a disadvantage when you're the CW, okay? So why in the world would you start a game at 2 o'clock? And keep in mind, this is not, people can say, it's got nothing to do with NC State or VMI. The television networks pick the game times, not the schools. So for whatever reason, the CW network has decided that 2 o'clock in the afternoon is the perfect time for them to broadcast VMI at NC State. It's dumb. These odd start times, the average ratings, TV ratings for games with odd start times have got to be lower than the average TV ratings for any other start time. I mean, just in your head, if you were to think about what time do college football games start? Now, I know with time zones that it's back an hour, but just going off of East Coast time zone, you say, well, you got a round of games that start at noon. You got a round of games that start, between 3 and 4, and you got a round of games that start between 7 and 8. And then for the degenerate, stay up late hooting with the owls, college football maniacs, you got a couple of games, West Coast games that come on at 10, 11 at night. That's just kind of like the standard Saturday schedule in college football. Why, like Notre Dame, half of Notre Dame's games come on at like 2:30 Eastern. No wonder nobody watches them. You sit down at noon, you start watching college football games at noon, you get invested in the games that you're watching. God forbid the game's close or interesting or exciting. What? Then you're supposed to make a decision at halftime or midway through the third quarter. Do I want to watch the rest of this game that I've been watching for 2 or 2.5 hours? Or do I want to switch over to the fucking CW network to watch NC State or Peacock to watch Notre Dame or whatever this dumb shit what's coming on at 2 or 2:30 and that? It's just dumb. And whatever TV executives are doing this ought to be fired, thrown out of the building, and shipped out of town on the first thing smoking. Other than that, let's continue. Norfolk State at Temple. Indiana State at Ball State. More games that no one's going to watch. Look, Central Michigan at Notre Dame, Peacock, 2:30. This just doesn't make any fucking sense. Now, there are a handful of Notre Dame fans who will seek this game out and watch it. Nobody else will. Nobody else. First of all, there's not a soul alive right now that can tell me how they're going to watch this game on Peacock. Is it a channel? Is it a streaming service? Is it a combination of the two? What fucking channel is it? Is it an app? Do I have to have a separate peak? No one fucking knows. And then on top of that, it's at 2:30 in the fucking afternoon Eastern time. This is just absolutely ridiculous. No wonder Notre Dame TV contract is less than any other Power 5 school in the country. No wonder. 2:30 in the fucking afternoon on the goddamn Peacock. Moving on to the 3:30 games. Again, I will be live on YouTube. We'll start the stream about 3:15, and we'll hang out and watch all the afternoon games, which we're about to talk about now. So if you want to come hang out and watch the afternoon games, the games that will be on will be South Carolina at Georgia, 3:30 on CBS. Georgia, a huge home favorite in that one. Georgia's first Power 5 opponent of the year. We'll see how they do. Alabama at South Florida. Jalen Mildew experiment over after 2 weeks. Apparently, Mildew has been benched. At least that's the news going around. Started, I guess, trickling out late yesterday afternoon, and by last night it was pretty much everybody was reporting that the Mildew experiment is over. Mildew has been benched as starting quarterback. And they've decided to go with Tyler fucking Buckner. And I think that's what I'm going to call him. You got Jalen Mildew, Bart Simpson, Tyler fucking Buckner, I think is what I'll call him. A Notre Dame throwaway. He was just absolutely horrendous last year at Notre Dame. He was the starting quarterback when they lost to Marshall and couldn't get a first down. He's just terrible. But Tommy Rees is there. A throwaway offensive coordinator from Notre Dame that Saban thought it would be a good idea to go up there and get. So why not get his can of corn QB, Tyler fucking Buckner? And so it looks like the Tyler fucking Buckner show will start today, live at 3:30 in Tampa. Okay. Alabama at South Florida, 3:30 on ABC. San Diego State. You know what's going to be? This is going to be, it'll be great because South Florida's not any good. This is like a Middle Tennessee State situation here. You got to remember, the Alabama fans thought Mildew was the greatest quarterback they'd ever seen after that Middle Tennessee State game, right? The same thing's going to happen here. The same thing's going to happen. Don't you know? Tyler Buckner's going to go whatever, let's say 20 of 26 for 220 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. The Bama fans are not going to shut up. But you know what they're going to say? Man, if we'd have started Tyler Buckner against Texas, we would have won the game. They're gonna hype up Tyler Buckner, and then next week Ole Miss is going to come into town and absolutely humiliate him. Doesn't it just seem like it's setting up to be that way? It sure does. It sure does. San Diego State at Oregon State, 3:30 on FS1. If Clemson fans want to take a look at a real quarterback, they can watch this game today and see DJ UncleLouHere, who they ran out of town in favor of Cade Klubnik, who can't complete a pass to his own team. Y'all can watch this game today, 3:30 on FS1, San Diego State at undefeated and 16th ranked Oregon State. What is Clemson ranked again with Cade Klubnik? Oh, yeah, they're unranked. That's right. Forgot about that. Got blowed out by Duke. Boy, the ACC is horrific. Oklahoma at Tulsa, 3:30 on ESPN2. Minnesota at North Carolina, another one of these Big Ten versus ACC games. Like I said, I think there are 6 of these today. 3:30 game on ESPN. That one might be a good game. Northwestern at Duke. Duke ought to handle that, I would think. I would think Duke could handle them. We'll see. I'm not too high on Northwestern. That one comes on 3:30 on the ACC network. Western Michigan at Iowa. The whole Iowa thing with the offensive coordinator is just, it was hilarious from the beginning, but now we're 2 games into the season. They haven't hit the number a single time. Yeah, if you don't know what we're talking about, the Iowa offensive coordinator is the head coach's son. So Kirk Ferentz has been the head coach at Iowa for 25 years. His son is the offensive coordinator. And, of course, Iowa's had the worst offense in the Power 5 for like 3, 4, 5 years in a row. So they wanted to fire him this past offseason, but, of course, Kirk Ferentz said, no, I'm not firing my son. So the administration basically ripped up his contract, the offensive coordinator's contract, wrote him a new contract. It's all incentive-based. And if Iowa doesn't average 25 points a game this season, then basically he gets paid minimum wage for the year and fired. If he averages over 25 points per game this year, then he gets his regular pay on the contract, whatever that is, plus an extension to continue on as offensive coordinator. 25 points a game in today's college football is absolute poverty. If you can't score 25 points on average, there might be a game or two you go under that. But if you can't score 25 points a game on average in today's college football with the rules set up to protect the offense, that's alarming. And through 2 games, Iowa has yet to hit that 25-point mark. We'll see if they can do it today. Virginia Tech at Rutgers, 3:30 on the Big Ten Network. FIU at UConn. East Carolina at App State. App State, one of the best games of the week last week, them in North Carolina. Exciting game, came down to the end. They host East Carolina today, streaming on ESPN+. Western Kentucky at Ohio State, 4 o'clock on Fox. Ohio State and Notre Dame both play inferior competition today, but they play each other next week. So, Notre Dame and Ohio State are probably each looking at this week's game and going, all right, let's just get out of here with a win and no injuries and start looking at that upcoming game next week. But, of course, that game next week is going to be absolutely huge. Just absolutely huge. Ohio State on the road at Notre Dame next week. I believe that game's in prime time next week. But Ohio State's still kind of working out their kinks offensively. Their defense has looked pretty good through the first couple of weeks. We'll see what the offense can do today at home against Western Kentucky. UL Monroe at Texas A&M. They're trying to rebound from that humiliating loss on the road to Miami last week. That's 4 o'clock on the SEC network. Idaho at Cal on the Pac-12 network. Good luck finding that. Tulane at Southern Miss. Tulane lost to Ole Miss last week. Tries to rebound with a win on the road at Southern Miss this week, 4 o'clock ESPNU. Washington at Michigan State. No Mel Tucker. He's been suspended. He'll be fired on October 5th, but for now he's been suspended. Washington on the road at Michigan State. They've promoted another coach to interim head coach, and they've brought back Mark D'Antonio. They went and dusted him off, brought him back. He's a special assistant to the football program or something he's called. So we'll see how that goes today. But even if you didn't have all the Mel Tucker distraction this past week, Washington is a way better team than Michigan State. And what's been Michigan State's biggest problem over the last couple of years? Pass defense. One of the worst pass defenses in the country over the last couple of years. And they got to play Washington and Michael Penix. This might be a name your number game here for Washington. I have a feeling they're going to light Michigan State up. Michigan State's lucky this one's on 5 o'clock on Peacock, so nobody will watch it. Northern Colorado at Washington State, 5 o'clock on Pac-12 Network. North Carolina Central at UCLA, 5 o'clock Pac-12 Network. Georgia State at Charlotte, Villanova at Central Florida. And then moving into the primetime games. Now, these are the games I'll be streaming over on the Patreon page tonight. Like I mentioned earlier, the Tennessee-Florida game starts at 7. The 3:30 games likely will not be over by 7. So I'm going to stay on YouTube and finish streaming the 3:30 games until the Georgia-South Carolina game ends. And then we'll start the Patreon stream. So it might not start right at 7, the Patreon stream, but it'll start right after the Georgia-South Carolina game ends. So it might be 7, it might be 7:15, it might be 7:30. It just depends how long that Georgia game takes. But the night games coming up, your primetime lineup tonight, number 11 Tennessee on the road at Florida, 7 o'clock on ESPN. My thoughts on this game are very well known. I think Tennessee should blow them out. I think Tennessee, I keep saying 30 points. Tennessee, this should not be a close game in the fourth quarter, I don't think. I'll just leave it at that. Samford at Auburn. Auburn coming off a 14-10 win at Cal last week. Still trying to get their offense figured out under first-year head coach Hugh Freeze. North Texas at Louisiana Tech. Murray State at Middle Tennessee. Northern Illinois at Nebraska. Matt Rule came out and defended Jeff Sims this week, which means I can no longer defend Matt Rule. I liked Matt Rule. Thought it was a good hire. Thought he would get Nebraska turned around, possibly even this year. That's clearly not happening. I'm starting to have less and less faith in Matt Rule overall. I don't see how anybody has watched any Nebraska football, whether it was the Colorado game last week or the Minnesota game back in week 1. I don't see how anybody's watched any Nebraska football and then went, yeah, I'm going to stick with Jeff Sims. The guy is horrible. He's the worst quarterback in the Power 5. They couldn't score against Minnesota. They couldn't score against Colorado. And Colorado's defense doesn't even exist. And I'm not even trolling or trash talking or keeping the same energy or whatever the idiots told me to do. Colorado's defense is horrendous, and Nebraska couldn't move the ball on them. I don't understand what Matt Rule or anybody else is seeing in Jeff Sims to come out and defend him and say, yeah, we'll stick with him. I mean, we make fun of Jalen Mildew. Jalen Mildew looks like a Hall of Famer compared to Jeff Sims. But anyway, Northern Illinois, who has beaten some Power 5 teams. Didn't they beat Georgia Tech a couple of years ago? And don't laugh and say, oh, well, yeah, but that's Georgia Tech. Yeah, I know, but this is Nebraska. I mean, they might be worse. Vandy at UNLV. I need Vandy to win this game. I need Vandy to win that game. Miami of Ohio at Cincinnati. Cincinnati, kind of surprisingly, is undefeated. They were an underdog last week on the road at Pitt. Got the win. They're 2-0. Don't look now, Florida man. But Cincinnati quarterback Emory Jones has looked really good through the first 2 weeks of the season. Meanwhile, you're stuck with Graham Cracker Mertz. Have a great day. Mighty Graham Cracker Mertz. South Alabama at Oklahoma State. Tarleton State at Texas Tech. Should be a big win for Texas Tech. Louisiana at UAB. Who have they played? Well, next week they play UAB. So you can get back on your who have they played routine next week. Because next week they play UAB. Yeah, next week they play UAB. That makes you mad, doesn't it? Yeah, I know it does. Who have Georgia played? Woo! Who have they played? Nobody, ever, in the history of the internet. Prairie View at SMU, Texas Southern at Rice, Duquesne, which is spelled Duquesne, at Coastal Carolina. Stony Brook at Arkansas State. James Madison at Troy. This could be a good game. Troy had the second longest winning streak in the country. Georgia's got the first. But Troy had the second longest winning streak in the country before they lost last weekend. James Madison beat Virginia last weekend, a Power 5 team. So, I don't know. That might be a good game. NFL Network. Why? There's no NFL players on either of these two teams. What are we doing? I'm serious. What are we doing? San Jose State at Toledo. Bowling Green at Michigan. Michigan's non-conference potato tour rolls on. Michigan's sixth straight regular season non-conference game against a group of 5 team. Congratulations to Michigan for scheduling 0 out-of-conference Power 5 opponents for 2 years in a row. Absolutely pathetic. Boy, I don't know what if I was a Michigan fan, I'd be up in arms. 0 Power 5 non-con opponents? Wow. For 2 years in a row? Wow. If Georgia even did that 1 year in a row, I'd be irate. Georgia Tech at Ole Miss. This is another one that some people are picking as an upset that I just don't see. The Ole Miss-Mississippi State game is the other one, and then this one. I get it. Ole Miss plays at Alabama. Maybe Georgia Tech's a little bit better than people think. Classic trap game scenario. Lane Kiffin's not a very good head coach. I get all that. I can't see Georgia Tech going on the road and getting the win. Now, I would consider taking Georgia Tech in the points, especially if I can get it close to 3 touchdowns. But I just don't know if I could pick this game outright as an upset. BYU on the road at Arkansas. This could be a good game. I haven't watched much Arkansas, so I might watch at least a quarter or two of this game. We'll see what else is on tonight. But I'd like to watch a little bit of Arkansas. Akron on the road at Kentucky, 7:30 on ESPNU. Syracuse at Purdue. Syracuse should be able to go on the road and get that win without a problem. Pittsburgh at West Virginia, the backyard brawl. This was a great game last year. Don't know about this year. West Virginia, have they even won a game? I don't know. Well, maybe. Pitt lost last week to Cincinnati. Rivalry game. These two fan bases absolutely hate each other. Unfortunately, neither one of these teams are very good, so just not a lot of people talking about this game. Shout out to Pigskin Pete's significant other and better half and two, Mrs. Pete, who's at this game today. Have fun and behave yourself, Mrs. Pete. I'm sure that you will do at least one of those two things. Yeah. Wyoming on the road at Texas, 8 o'clock on the Longhorn Network still exists. Oh, my God. Why? Why? All they do is show replays of the 2005 Southern Cal versus Texas game over and over again. There's nothing else to show on there. There's nothing else to show. Like, you know how every Christmas, is it TBS? TBS or TNT? I think it's TBS. Every year on Christmas Eve, like starting at like 6 o'clock on Christmas Eve, for 24 hours straight till 6 o'clock the next day, they show nothing but that movie, The Christmas Story, over and over and over again. That's what the Longhorn Network is, but it just shows that 2005 Rose Bowl or whatever it was, the Vince Young game, the Texas versus Southern Cal game. They just show that over and over again. I don't know why the Longhorn Network needs to exist. I don't understand. No one watches it. Texas fans don't even watch it. They've told me they don't watch it. Hawaii at Oregon, 8 o'clock Pac-12 Network. New Mexico State at New Mexico. Sacramento State at Stanford. Florida Atlantic at Clemson. How many interceptions will Cade Klubnik have today? Tune in 8 o'clock on the ACC Network to find out. TCU at Houston, Jackson State at Texas State, Colorado State at Colorado, 10 o'clock on ESPN, getting into the after dark sort of games now. Fresno State at Arizona State. Arizona State better be careful there. Fresno State go in there and whip them if they're not careful. Kansas on the road at Nevada, Kansas trying to remain undefeated. And UTEP at Arizona. There you go. That is today's lineup of games. That is today's lineup of games. So we all can figure out what we need to watch and everything like that. All right, let me catch up on these super chats, which I have unfortunately ignored up to this point. Again, if you have sent a PayPal or a Cash App, I'm sure I got it, but I don't add those to the wheel to the end of the show. That way we don't spend the whole show going back and forth, just adding names to the wheel every 5 minutes. So if you want to get your name on the wheel, Cash App, PayPal, the links are in the description of the video. I'll post them in the chat real quick too. But again, they're in the description of the video. I can't do giveaways through Super Chat, but it's the Cash App and the PayPal. So any Cash App, any PayPal, get your name added to the wheel. At the end of the show, we'll spin the wheel, pick a winner. 2 winners again. We'll do 2 winners again today. How about that? We'll do 2 winners. How about that? Okay, let me get caught up on these Super Chats, though. Trucking with Jeter. Thank you for hitting the Super Chat today to help support the show. I really appreciate that. He says, good morning, Lou, and go Gators. Good morning. But I'm sticking with balls by 30 deal on that. N.O. Thank you for joining the join. Effective Diesel. FSU comes out of hibernation when there is a change to the way the championships are played. Won the second and the last BCS championship and lost in the first 4-team playoff. Should be interesting since things are changing. That is a good point. They won the national title in 2013. That was the last year of the BCS. They made the 4-team playoff in 2014, but lost. In fact, Florida State was the first college football team in history to lose a playoff game. There you go. That'd be a great that'd be a great trivia question 20 years down the road, won't it? Who was the first college football team to ever lose a playoff game? Florida State. Who'd they lose to for bonus points? Oregon, right? Is that right? Am I remembering that right? Thank you, Effective Diesel, for the super chat. Gators Owned, thank you for the super chat. He says Florida 33, Tennessee 17. Wow, boy, can you imagine if Tennessee only scores 17? Wow. Wow. Derek Moyer says USC. What about him? What about him? Or you just felt like typing it? Zippy, thank you for the super chat. He says, down here in Valdosta, which is a very college football diverse town, the FSU fans have crawled out of their caves and the UF fans are on a milk carton. Yeah, a lot of Florida State fans in the Valdosta area, always has been. I didn't know that about the Florida fans, but I knew there was a bunch of Florida State fans down there. And it's always been that way. Always been that way. Thank you, Zippy, for hitting a super chat to help support today's show. You're good people. Dogman from Pakistan? Good morning. Are you currently in Pakistan? I would guess no, I guess. I had a friend in elementary school who was Pakistani. Is that right? Is that how you say it? Pakistani? Pakistani? Pakistanian? Anyway, he was from Pakistan. His name was Rizwan. And I'm not making that up. Might sound like I am, but I'm not making that up. His name was Rizwan. Rizwan. That was his first name. That was his first name. Rizwan. Rizwan. No, I'm not making it up. I'm not making it up. Warren Road Elementary School. Warren Road Elementary School. Rizwan was his name. Now I have two Pakistani friends. Thank you, Dogman from Pakistan. Suicidal Tennessee fan, which could be any of them, really. They're all basically hanging by a thread at this point. He says, Octavian, Florida is getting monkey stomped. Damn, you going to take that from him, Octavian? Thank you, Suicidal Tennessee fan. Go Patriots 99 says, what team is on the biggest upset alert? Great question. We're going to figure that out in a second. I'm fixing to pull the odds up on all the games, and we're going to go through them. And I'm going to try to pick out 2 or 3 teams that are at least 7 to 10 point underdogs that I think Mike could win today. And I already told you 2 popular ones that I don't think are good. I don't think Georgia Tech is beating Ole Miss. That's a popular upset pick today. And I don't think Mississippi State's beating LSU. So I got to find 2 or 3 different ones. Trucking with Jeter, thank you for the super chat. He says, I personally knew Emery's family in the LaGrange area. Nice people. Florida messed up letting him go. He just needed more time. He just needed more time. Well, he's had plenty of time now, and he's lighting it up at Cincinnati. He had 7 touchdowns in week 1. How many games do you how many games do I have to add up for Florida against Power 5 opponents before I get to 7 touchdowns? Let's see. Actually, I want to figure that out. So that's what I'm going to do. All right. So all right, so against Utah, they scored 1 touchdown, right? Yeah. So they scored 1 touchdown against Utah. Prior to that, they played Oregon State, and they scored 0 touchdowns. So that's 1 touchdown in 2 games. Against Florida State, they scored 5 touchdowns. So they've scored 7 touchdowns in their last 5 games. Emory Jones scored 7 touchdowns in week 1. But Florida doesn't need him. They have Graham Cracker Mertz. Tilly says, you still got the He's a Florida Man woo clip. Do I still have that? It's a great question. He's a Florida man, Lou! Yeah, he's a Florida man, woo. He's a Florida man, woo. Swaggy Man, thank you for the super chat. He says, are you not able to remove names off the rigged wheel like the first winner? What? I don't understand the question. Like if someone wins, their name can never go back on the wheel? Well, no, that's not fair. Just because you won last week doesn't mean you can't win this week. That's silly, Swaggy Man. Ant, thank you for the super chat. He says, Beamer going to blame the hot dogs again. Wiener Beamer. Speaking of blaming hot dogs, I have another sneak peek and surprise tonight for everybody over on the Patreon stream. Patreon stream tonight will be the primetime games. I'll give you a little sneak peek at something tonight over there. Give you a little sneak peek. How'd that be? How'd that be? Yeah, I think that'd be just fine. All right, let's take a look at these odds. See if we can win some money today. You think we can? Hopefully we can. I certainly hope we can. All right. Penn State at Illinois. Penn State's a 14-point favorite on the road. Conference game at Illinois. Illinois surprisingly good last year. Really good defense. Brett Bielema, the head coach there. Had Illinois not lost to Kansas last week, I think this would be potential trouble for Penn State. But I watched, I live streamed the entire Kansas-Illinois game, so I watched the whole game. And, Kansas isn't bad. They're not the Kansas of 5 years ago, but it just seems to me if they can't keep up with Kansas and slow Kansas down, and what are they going to do against Penn State? So will Penn State cover the 14? Drew Allar's first road start, can be tricky. I don't know if I can pick. Can anybody pick this is anybody picking this one as an upset? I can't imagine Penn State losing this game. I can't. I don't know. I don't see it. LSU on the road at Mississippi State. This is probably the most popular, or probably the most popular upset pick of the week. LSU's a 9.5-point favorite on the road at Mississippi State. I don't see it. I don't get it. Like I said, I'm not throwing the towel in on LSU because of what happened in the Florida State game. Now, if they lose this game, then obviously I'll recalibrate. But in Mississippi State, they beat one of the Arizona schools. What was it? Arizona State? They play whoever one of the Arizona schools. They won by like one score in overtime, wasn't it? And that was with 5 takeaways. Their defense forced 5 turnovers. Do you know how hard it is when your defense forces 5 turnovers to only win the game by 1 score? That's not a sign of a very good team, I don't think. I can't imagine. I'm confused as to why this seems like such an obvious upset pick to so many people. Maybe I'm wrong. I've been wrong before. If you remember, way back in 2019, I actually picked Georgia to beat South Carolina. South Carolina was like a 4-win team. They were horrendous. Georgia was ranked in the top 10. Georgia turned the ball over a bunch of times, missed field goals, only gave up one touchdown. Georgia's defense did, but Georgia still lost the game. So I've been wrong before, but I don't see Mississippi State winning that game. Florida State at Boston College. Florida State is a 24.5-point favorite. I like Florida State to cover there. Florida State didn't have any letdown at all. After that big win against LSU, they came back home, played a nobody Southern Miss team, and put up like 66 points on them. No letdown at all. Keon Coleman looks uncoverable. Jordan Travis, he didn't play great. In that Southern Miss game. Now, I had some Florida State fans in the comment. When I said that last time, I had some Florida State fans show up in the comment section and yell at me for not watching the game and blaming the wide receivers for drop passes. It happens. Unless you say they're going – there's certain fans, unless you say they're going 100-0 and winning every game 500-0, they'll show up in the comment section to tell you how wrong you are. Reality is Jordan Travis did not look great last week against Southern Miss, no matter how much that makes the Florida State man mad. But they won easily. Kansas State at Missouri. Now, here's a possible upset here. They're only a 3.5-point favorite, Kansas State. Now, I like Kansas State to win the game, but we'll see. Kansas State at Missouri. Kansas State favored by 3.5. I think Mizzou could win that one. I've been a little underwhelmed with Missouri this year. I thought they might be a little bit better. So far, I haven't seen that. Kansas State, on the other hand, has looked good. I'm a little surprised that's only a 3.5-point line. Georgia Southern on the road at Wisconsin, a Big Ten team. Now, last year, Georgia Southern went up there and beat Nebraska. Cost a man his job, too. Cost a man his job, Scott Frost. Sure did. Wisconsin lost last week to Washington State. A little bit of a surprise to me. I think they rebound this week. They're not going to lose to Georgia Southern. Will they win by 20? Well, we'll see, but I don't know if I would bet that game, but I do think Wisconsin will win. Louisville at Indiana, I think this is a possible upset here. If we're looking for upsets in the 7 to 10-point range, this is one. I don't think Louisville's all that good. I mean, hell, they were losing to Georgia Tech at halftime. You know how bad you have to be losing to Georgia Tech at halftime? You got to go on the road, play Indiana. Indiana's tested. They've played Ohio State. That's a possible upset pick there. Wake Forest at Old Dominion. Iowa State at Ohio. Iowa State's only favored by 2.5 over Ohio. I would take Iowa State and the under. Liberty and Buffalo. Central Michigan at Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame can win this game by 50. But with that Ohio State game coming up next week, do they coast in the second half, Notre Dame? Do they take the starters out? It's worth thinking about. Maybe take Central Michigan in the points. South Carolina at Georgia. This one started out at 24.5, went up to 27.5. Now it's down to 26.5. I like Georgia to win by 4 touchdowns. Minnesota at North Carolina. North Carolina favored by 7. I like North Carolina there. I like North Carolina. Minnesota almost lost to Nebraska. You got to be pretty bad for that to happen. I'll take the Tar Heels at home and Drake May to win by 10 points. Northwestern on the road at Duke. Duke favored by 17. Now, this one, I'd probably take Duke. I don't know. I wouldn't bet this one. But I like Duke to win the game. Alabama at South Florida. Shit, give me South Florida in the 34. Alabama with the QB hokey pokey now 3 weeks into the season. They finally realized what everyone else already knew, Jalen Milroe. It's not that Jalen Mildew's a bad quarterback. He's not a quarterback at all. He's a tight end, a running back, an H-back, something, an athlete, but he's not a quarterback. Can't read a defense, can't progress through his throws. And he's got, 80 yards rushing in the first 2 games. That's not good enough for a quarterback who can't complete passes. If you're going to play Jalen Mildew, he better have 100-plus yards rushing a game, not 40 a game. So I don't, whatever. But now they're going with Tyler Buckner, a Notre Dame throwaway, Tommy Reese's do-boy from last year. Same Tyler Buckner and Tommy Reese that led Notre Dame to an amazing loss against Marshall last year. Unbelievable. Give me South Florida in the points. Western Michigan on the road at Iowa, favored by 28.5. I'm going to say no on this. I'm going to take Western Michigan and under 42.5. Ain't no way. Oklahoma on the road at Tulsa. Oklahoma's a 28-point road favorite. I like Oklahoma. Beat SMU 28-11 last week, and some people are not happy with that. I don't get it. SMU's not a terrible Group of 5 team. I mean, hell, they're on their way to the Power 5. They'll be a Power 5 team next year, won't they? Aren't they joining the ACC? SMU, a team that spent a lot of time being ranked over the last couple of seasons. Just because Oklahoma's offense didn't put up 70 on them like they did against a nobody in week 1, some people are shaking their head at Oklahoma. I don't get it. I'll take Oklahoma here to win this one by more than 28 on the road at Tulsa. San Diego State at Oregon State. Oregon State favored by 24.5. I'm going to take San Diego State here, but I don't think the game will be close. I think Oregon State will win by 3 touchdowns. And for the third week in a row, DJ Ukulele will outplay Cade Klubnik. East Carolina at App State. I wouldn't bet that one. I think App State will win, but I wouldn't bet it. Virginia Tech at Rutgers. God, somebody's got to win this game, don't they? You know what? I'll take Rutgers. Yep. Western Kentucky at Ohio State. Ohio State's a 30-point favorite. I'll take Western Kentucky. Same thought process here as the Notre Dame versus Western Michigan or whatever it is game. I think Ohio State could beat Western Kentucky 50-10 or something, but what's going to happen in the second half of this game if Ohio State's up by 4 touchdowns and they got Notre Dame on the road next week? Going to take some starters out, maybe coast in the second half. This might be Ohio State's toughest test of the season so far, at least defensively it might be. Western Kentucky has the ability to move the ball a little. We'll see, but I probably won't bet that game, but for pick purposes, I'll take Western Kentucky plus 30. It's not because I think anything bad about Ohio State. It's purely I'm purely picking the Ohio State and Notre Dame game based on the fact that they play next week, and I just don't know what that might mean for the second halves of their games against inferior competition this week. So I'm taking the points against Ohio State and against Notre Dame this week. Tulane on the road at Southern Miss. Tulane's an 11.5-point favorite. I got to look and see if Tulane's quarterback is playing this week. He didn't play last week against Ole Miss, and they really missed him. If that quarterback is playing, I'll take Tulane. If not, I'll just stay away from this game. But I think Tulane will win the game either way. But I need to know about that quarterback before I'd be willing to make any bet or pick against a spread on this game. Louisiana Monroe at Texas A&M. I think Texas A&M will rebound. Texas A&M's another team that just because they went on the road and lost to Miami, I'm not convinced they're somehow going 5-7 now. Again, I still think Texas A&M is going to win more games than they lose this year. Now maybe that's just 7-5, but I'm not throwing in the towel on Texas A&M yet either. Washington on the road at Michigan State. Talked about that one earlier. I think Washington will roll. This is one of my favorite picks of the day here. I think Washington might win by 4 touchdowns. Michigan State's in total disarray, and even when they're in array, as opposed to is array the opposite of disarray? Right now they're in disarray, but even if they were in regular array, I would still take Washington to win that game. Hey! What's the opposite of disarray? Is it array? She doesn't know. Tennessee at Florida. This one is down to 5.5. This is another one that I don't. And you know what's bad? This thing started at 7, went down to 6.5. Now it's down to 5.5. When the line moves down, it means money's getting put on the game in that direction. That means there's a lot of money being put on Florida in this game. That's what this means, that the line goes down. And you know what's sad? You know who it is putting that money on Florida? Tennessee fans. It's Tennessee fans. I don't understand why Tennessee fans think they're losing this game. I don't understand. This is probably the funniest possible outcome of the week. I think if Tennessee loses this game, that's the funniest possible outcome of the week. In other words, like if we're looking at it in terms of like the your season is over video tomorrow, what are the funniest possible outcomes today for tomorrow's your season is over video? Now, obviously, well, Georgia's on the top of that list every single week, and but because Georgia is back-to-back national champions and was undefeated last year and has won 19 or 20 games in a row, whatever it is, the funniest possible outcome every week is whenever Georgia loses. Everyone is sitting around. Everybody is waking up on Saturday morning wanting two things to happen. They want their team to win, and they want Georgia to lose. So Georgia losing is going to be the funniest possible outcome every single week until it actually happens. But short of that, this is the funniest possible outcome of the week if somehow Tennessee loses this game, because there's just no reason or excuse for it. And if they do, then that means that Tennessee was a one-hit wonder, that last year was not some type of turning the page or turning of the corner, and that Tennessee is on its way back to becoming a relevant program. If they can't go down there and beat an absolute horrific Florida team, then I don't want to hear any more talk about Tennessee for the rest of the season. And you know what? As a Georgia fan, Tennessee losing this game is bad for me because they're already crying nonstop about Georgia's schedule. And then they go, the only decent team you play is Tennessee. Well, I'm here to tell you, if you can't beat Florida, you're not a decent team. Good luck. Miami of Ohio at Cincinnati. I like Cincinnati to cover in this one. Again, Emory Jones, red hot, unlike Graham Cracker Mertz. Northern Illinois at Nebraska. I like Northern Illinois in the points in this one, and I wouldn't be surprised if they won outright. Nebraska is just, I mean, if Nebraska played Iowa, what happened? If Nebraska, oh, shit, where did we go? Baylor against Baylor? Wait a minute. What's going on here? What happened? Did that say Baylor against Baylor? That says Baylor against Baylor. What is happening here? Let's refresh. There's some sort of glitch in the matrix going on here. That literally said Baylor against Baylor. Okay, now it's fixed. Where were we at? Florida versus Tennessee. Y'all saw that, right? It said Baylor versus Baylor. At least that way Baylor would get a win. That might be the only way Baylor gets a win, as if they played themselves. So I like Northern Illinois over Nebraska. South Alabama to Oklahoma State. I like South Alabama. In fact, make that one of my upset picks. Give me South Alabama to win this game. That'll be one of my upset picks. Here's my upset picks. South Alabama, Northern Illinois. That's two upset. I'll take South Alabama to beat Oklahoma State. I'll take Northern Illinois to beat Nebraska. There's my two upset picks for the week. There you go. Write that down or screen record it. James Madison at Troy. Could be an interesting game. Could be a good game. Vandy at UNLV. I need Vandy to win this game. I don't care. 4.5, 1.5. It doesn't matter to me. I got a bet on Vandy winning more than 3.5 games this season. They're currently at 2 wins. They lost to Wake Forest last week. I need them to beat UNLV. That'll put them at 3 wins. Now, the rest of their games after that are all going to be SEC games. So if they win today at UNLV, I just need Vandy to win one SEC game. I don't care if it's against Florida, South Carolina, Kentucky, Mizzou. They play Auburn. I don't care who it's against. I just need them to win. If they win today, I just need them to win one more game. So need Vandy to win today. More garbage here. More garbage. Samford at Auburn. I'll take Samford in the 33 points. I don't think it'll be a close game, but 33 seems too high. Give me Auburn into points. Give me Samford into points against the barn. Georgia Tech at Ole Miss. I will take Georgia Tech in the 18. I do not think they're winning this game. This is another one of those popular upset picks this week. Ole Miss plays on the road at Bama next week. So I think a lot of people are picking Georgia Tech thinking that Ole Miss might just be overlooking them or something, and maybe they are overlooking them. But I still think Ole Miss wins the game. But I'll take Georgia Tech in the 18 points, and we'll see if the Yellow Jackets can keep it within 18. BYU at Arkansas. I like Arkansas -8 here. BYU's been disappointing to me this year. Arkansas has been a little bit better than I thought. I need to watch them today, though. I want to watch some Arkansas today. That one comes on at 7:30. Bowling Green at Michigan. I wouldn't touch that. Akron at Kentucky. I wouldn't touch that. Syracuse at Purdue. I like Syracuse. I'll take Syracuse, lay the 2.5. Purdue's terrible and a train wreck. What is going on here? Who are there any? In fact, let me just go back to the comment section here. Can somebody tell me what's going on with that Pitt West Virginia game? West Virginia is one of the worst teams on the planet, and Pitt was favored at one point by 7 points. Now Pitt lost to Cincinnati last week, so that line went down. But even earlier in the week, Pitt was favored by like 2.5 or 3 points. It's completely flipped, and now West Virginia is favored. Is somebody out? Is that quarterback Jerkovic hurt or not playing? Like, is there something going on that I don't know about? Why is this line flipped the complete other way, and West Virginia is now favored? Is there an injury somewhere? What is the deal? I don't understand. So before I bet money on the game, I'll look more into that. But no, without having any information about somebody being injured or something, I'll take Pitt in the 2.5 points, and I'll take them to win the game outright. I'm just not a believer at all in West Virginia. Wyoming on the road at Texas. I'll take Wyoming in the points. Wyoming's a decent group of 5 team. They always have a couple of Wyoming's one of those teams every single year the Power 5 comes and looks at them and goes, okay, we'll take that guy, and that guy. It's usually offensive linemen. So they've got some good players. They've already got one Power 5 win this season over Texas Tech, I believe. And Texas is coming off that big emotional win on the road at Alabama. Now, clearly I think Texas is way better than Wyoming. I just think this is maybe a classic hangover situation against an opponent that's better than most people think. I do think Texas wins the game. I don't see any chance they lose. But I'll take Wyoming to keep it closer than 29. Florida Atlantic at Clemson. I'm actually going to take Clemson and lay the points here. Probably a lot of people thinking FAU because Cade Klubnik is terrible and Clemson doesn't know what they're doing. I think Clemson wins by more than 24.5. I like the Taters there. TCU at Houston. I ain't got no interest in it. Hawaii at Oregon. I like Oregon to win. I wouldn't bet any money on that one, though. That's a big number, 38. Colorado State at Colorado. I like Colorado -24. Kansas at Nevada. I like Kansas -28. I'm a believer. If Kansas can stay healthy, they're going to upset some folks. Hope it ain't Texas. What a shame that would be. What a shame it would be if Texas beat Alabama and lost to Kansas. I'm old enough to remember when Texas actually did lose to Kansas, like 3 seasons ago. Yeah. All right. That's it. There you go. All right. What are we eating today? Georgia plays South Carolina. Every year when Georgia plays South Carolina, they're the Gamecocks, the Game Chickens, of course. Every year when Georgia plays South Carolina, I have some type of chicken. Fried chicken, chicken fingers, grilled chicken, something. This year we're going to do chicken tenders from my favorite chicken place here in town, a local place, Wife Saver is the name of it. It's like a better version of KFC, a better version of Bojangles. It's a locally owned place here in town. They've got 4 or 5 locations around town. Wife Saver. If you've lived in Augusta for any amount of time, literally everybody knows about Wife Saver. Their chicken is good, but really what makes them so much better, in my opinion, than some of the national chain places like Bojangles and KFC and all that are their sides. Their fried okra is really good. Their mashed potatoes are really good. They've got collard and turnip greens that are really good. Like their sides are really, really good at Wife Saver compared to like your national chain chicken places. So we're gonna do Wife Saver today. We're gonna do chicken tenders, and we're gonna make a green bean casserole. Who likes green bean? I love green bean casserole. I love green bean casserole. So we're gonna make our own green bean casserole, or the lady's gonna make it. And we're gonna get chicken from Wife Saver, some chicken tenders, and we'll probably get a side or two from Wife Saver too. But we're gonna make our own green bean casserole. What else are we doing? There was some. I know there's something. There's something else we're doing. Rotel dip. We're doing Rotel dip today too. We're using sausage instead of hamburger meat. Most people, when they make Rotel dip, they use hamburger meat. I forget where I was at. Somewhere last year, and somebody had a Rotel dip, but they had made it with sausage instead of hamburger meat, and man, it was good. So now I make it with sausage. I just use ground sausage instead of hamburger meat. It's really, really good. So, yeah. So we're going to snack on chicken tenders, a couple of sides from Wife Saver. We're going to make a green bean casserole. We're going to have a Rotel dip to snack on tonight. That's what Uncle Lou's eating. All right. Let me look in the comments and see what y'all are eating. Let me scroll back up a little bit. Let's scroll back up a little bit. KFC is trash. Yeah, I agree with you. Rotel cheese dip and fried chicken from Kroger, says Toft of the OTP or something. You know who makes good fried chicken grocery store wise is Publix. I don't know that I've had Kroger's fried chicken. I'm sure it's good or you wouldn't be getting it, but Publix makes really good fried chicken. Zay Sackett says okra is water. That doesn't even make any sense. Yeah, that doesn't even make any sense. Is there a Wife Saver in Evans? Well, there's one on Furious Ferry Road. That's not technically Evans, though. Oh, yeah, it is. Yes, there is one in Evans on the corner of Furious Ferry Road, and you know where Riverside Middle School is? It's on the corner right there. Riverside Middle School's there. There's a Circle K gas station on the other corner. Right across the street from there, there's a Walgreens and a Wife Saver. So, yes, there is one in Evans. There is one in Evans. Brisket. Brisket's always good. Can't go wrong with that. Barbecue chicken, says David B. Austin Davis had just moved to Grovetown a few months ago, Lou. Oh, yeah? The lady lives out in Grovetown. Yeah, the lady lives out in Grovetown. Yeah. Yeah, I'm right down the road from you in Augusta. T-bone from the charcoal grill, says Hoghead. Well, you can't go wrong with a grilled steak. I mean, I could eat that every day of the week. Gamecock wings, says Jeremy Garrettson. Wet Blanket's an Oklahoma State fan. He says he'll be drinking South Alabama Tears. I hope for your sake y'all win. I took South Alabama now. Bulldog JC says, I'm going to fill my belly with a ton of dirt pecker wings, sauced and tossed, hot wings and garlic parmesan flavored. Tanner's going to eat burgers, buffalo dip, and beer. Buffalo dip is one of the most popular football foods on the planet. Almost every single time I talk about game day food and what is everybody eating, there's almost always multiple people in the comments who are eating buffalo dip, buffalo chicken dip. Crispy K's eating jambalaya. College football fan is having gator meat tonight. Must be a Tennessee fan. You know, I like fried gator. I've only had it once, but it was good. It looked like chicken tenders. So I don't know if it's called fried gator tenders, but that's what it like the shape of it. That's what it looked like. It looked like chicken tenders, but it was gator, and it was good. It was really good. Smoked pork tenderloin. God, that sounds good. That sounds real good. I buy pork tenderloins, but I don't smoke them. I buy I'm lazy when it comes to my pork tenderloins. I buy the ones from the grocery store that are already seasoned, and I just cook them in the oven. I know that's lazy, and the way you're doing it is a lot better, but that's how I do pork tenderloin. I just buy it already seasoned at the store and cook it in the oven. Bowers is out now too. I don't know anything about that. Ladd McConkey's out. Look, Ladd McConkey is on. Look, Ladd McConkey's on the George Pickens 80 Mitchell plan. Just stop talking about. I don't want to hear anything about Ladd McConkey anymore. Now, I don't want to hear a word. Don't ask me about him. Don't ask me if he's playing. Don't ask me how close he is to coming back. If Georgia gets to the playoffs, Ladd McConkey will have 3 catches and a touchdown. He's on the George Pickens 80 Mitchell plan. This happens every year. Kirby's going to come out every week and tell us that Ladd McConkey is very close, game time decision, probably going to be able to play, then he's not going to play. That's going to happen every week from now till December. Okay, we see this every year. This is why I don't listen to anything. No, McConkey's not playing. No, he's not playing. No, he's not playing. He hasn't played all year, and he's not going to play today. He's on the 80 Mitchell plan where every week Kirby will tell you he's almost back. Same with George Pickens 2 years ago. He's almost back. Game time decision. We're going to reevaluate him on Wednesday. Practice. Blah, 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 blah. He looks good, and then he's not going to play. That's just so just forget it. Because I got riled up with the George Pickens and 80 Mitchell thing, and now here we go with the Ladd McConkey, and I just don't want to hear anything about it. So Dominic Lovett, Arian Smith, Mikael Muse, Dylan Bell, it's time to answer the fucking bell because there is no Ladd McConkey, okay? Just forget it. Ladd McConkey's not playing during the regular season, and if he does, great. But I'm tired of the 80 Mitchell, George Pickens thing where every week you think they're coming back and then they don't. Because when it comes to injuries, if Kirby Smart's mouth is moving, he's lying. Okay? When it comes to injuries, if Kirby Smart's mouth is moving, he's lying. And I love Kirby Smart, but he's not perfect. Nobody is. And this is another example of where the NFL gets it right. It should not be a government secret whether somebody's out for a day or 3 months. Like, that should be known. It should be known. College football needs to have a designation list like the NFL does. And if you're going to be out for this many weeks, you get put on this list or whatever the thing is, whatever. This whole thing where, some Georgia player could break their neck. Kirby would come out and tell us their day-to-day. So, it is what it is. It is what it is. It is what it is with our buddy Ladd McConkey. And I love Ladd McConkey. But I wish he would play. It's fun to watch. I tell you what you do. For those of you who like watching Ladd McConkey play, even if you're not, I don't know, I'm assuming there's even some non-Georgia fans who like watching Ladd McConkey play because he's an exciting player. I'm that way. I pick out, there's 4, 5, 6, sometimes 7 or 8 players every year in college football. I don't care who they play for. They're just a lot of fun to watch. So, since we don't get to watch Ladd McConkey play this year, you know who I'm watching instead of Ladd McConkey? I'll tell you. That Restrepo guy from Miami. That's what you do. So if you like watching Ladd McConkey play and you're having withdrawals, watch Miami games. Watch that Restrepo guy for Miami. Because he's about this tall too. And they can't tackle him either. So there is no Ladd McConkey. Dylan Bell's our best running back. What else? Dejon Edwards, I'll say yes on Dejon Edwards. But if I don't see Dejon Edwards this week, then Dejon Edwards is on the McHonky plan. Dejon Edwards hasn't played a single snap this year either. So I'm gonna go yes on Dejon Edwards and no on Ladd McHonky. But if Dejon Edwards doesn't play this week, then I'm putting him on the McHonky plan, the A.D. Mitchell plan, the George. Yes, Ladd McHonky. That's his name. You're spelling it wrong, but that's his name. His name is Ladd McHonky. Why y'all are spelling it wrong? There's no H in it. What would it take for James Franklin to be on the hot seat? He'd have to stop winning 10 games a year. So, I mean, as long as he's winning 10 games a year, he's not getting fired. Starting next year, Penn State's a playoff team 3 out of 4 years. Lou, his name does not have honky in it. That's right, there is no H in it. His name is Ladd McHonky. MCCONKEY. Ladd McHonky. Yeah. Dylan, thank you for the super chat. He says, according to the Gumpman logic, Georgia will lose because McHonky is injured. Yep. Should have lost last week and the week before. Georgia should be 0-2 because their best wide receiver's out. It's their best wide receiver. Leading wide receiver last year was Ladd McHonky. And he didn't play the first 2 weeks, yet we somehow still won. It's weird. And I don't know. I guess we're going to lose today, though, like you said. Vols Fanatic, thank you for joining to join. Crimson King says, I got Miss State at home today. LSU takes the L. Yeah, that's probably the most popular upset pick of the week. Yeah, I disagree with it, but like I said, I've been wrong before, but that's a very popular upset pick this week. Mike Luca, thank you for the super chat. He says, good old Rocky flop, always be a mediocre team. Can you hit the Rocky top button? Yeah, there you go. Ant, thank you for the super chat. He says, Beamer going to blame the hot dogs again. Wiener Beamer. Yeah, all right, I think we're caught up now. What time is it? 10:30. All right, you got about 10 or 15 minutes to get your name added to the wheel if you want to do that. Everybody that sends a super chat, no, I'm sorry, not a super chat. I can't do the super chats. Can't do giveaways with super chat. Cash App or PayPal. Everybody that sends a Cash App or PayPal during today's show, your name is going to be added to the wheel. At the end of the show, we spin the wheel. The wheel randomly picks a name. If it picks your name, you pick a game. If you get the game right, I send you back twice whatever you sent me. Even if you get the game wrong, I send you your money back. So either way, either way. Yeah. Travis Kirk, thank you for the super chat. He says, Oklahoma fan here, not sold on Dylan Gabriel. He plays scared to make mistakes. They call him DG. That stands for Dollar General Tua. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Oklahoma's looked fine to me through 2 weeks. I wouldn't necessarily be worried about the offense. The defense is what needed to get a lot better this year, and so far through 2 games, the defense has played well. I don't think Oklahoma's got very many problems offensively. I don't think they've got very many problems offensively. Tuned in late, but can I get a go dogs? You can always get a go dogs. Oh. There you go. Ladd is going to play again when UJ gets in the playoffs. Yeah, he's on the A.D. Mitchell, George Pickens plan. He's day-to-day. He's this close. He'll most likely play this week. We're going to reevaluate right before kickoff. That's what you'll hear. Then he won't play. And then the same thing next week. And then once Georgia gets in the playoffs, he'll have 3 catches, 1 touchdown, and off to the NFL or to Texas. Right? Is Ladd McHonky out still? I mean, there's no official announcement. I'm just telling you he's not playing. because he's on the A.D. Mitchell, George Pickens plan. There's no official announcement. Georgia doesn't do official announcements. I just don't. Everyone's about to be back any minute now. But I'm just telling you, Ladd McConkey's not playing. He hasn't played all year. I don't think he's playing today. Lou, would you take a Muse punt return for 6 and 2 picks for Stark today? Of course. Who wouldn't take? Why wouldn't? No, I don't want any punt returns for touchdowns, and I don't want any interceptions. What kind of question is that? Honestly, if it's a blowout, I'm pulling for Tennessee. If it's close, I'm pulling for Florida. It says Junkyard Dog. No, whatever you send to get on the wheel is your bet. Yeah, I'm not sure who he's responding to, but whatever you, I mean, you send $1, you can send $100, whatever, or whatever, it doesn't matter. But so if you win, you get twice whatever you sent. If you lose, you just get your money back. Same banana in the tailpipe routine. Yeah, been down this road before. So like I said, as far as I'm concerned, there is no Ladd McConkey. There's no Ladd McConkey. Once I see him play, that's when I'll believe that Ladd McConkey is playing again. Rochelle Dean says, I'm making apple ham jam sliders. That sounds interesting. Yeah, 25. Don't send more than $25. There ain't no sense in sending. There just ain't no sense in that. This show ain't worth more than $25. I'm just kidding. Yeah, up to $25. Tennessee is sorry. Go Gators, says Octavian. Thank you for the super chat, Octavian. He says, y'all going to be crying in the car tonight. Octavian owns Knoxville, he says. He wants, let me call in at halftime. I would let you call in at halftime, but that's a Patreon stream, so there's just won't be anybody listening. You know, it's not a YouTube stream. But we'll hear from you Tuesday, though. Everybody is win or lose, people are looking forward to Octavian's call Tuesday night on the call-in show. Dylan says, do you know if the weather is good for Ohio State? Have no idea. Haven't checked the weather in Columbus today, so I have no clue on that. Travis Kirk, thank you for the super chat. He says, Oklahoma fan here. Oh, we read that one. Okay, so we're caught up there. Which is no. Somebody just sent a Cash App. Again, we'll add all the names here in a second, maybe just a few more minutes. Yeah, Octavian's a great caller. We need to hear from Slimy Hot Boy. It's been a while since we've heard from Slimy Hot Boy. Need to hear from him, too, the Ohio State man. Hopefully we'll hear from him next week leading up to the big Ohio State-Notre Dame game. That would be ideal. Elijah Allen, thank you for the super chat. He says, piss on battered Vols syndrome, Vols by 50. Yeah, Vols by 30 for me. Vols by 30 for me. Sergeant Shiny said, what up, Woo? What's up, buddy? Lou is delusional for thinking Tennessee will win. Yeah. Anytime you pick a favorite to win the game, you obviously don't know anything about college football. Lou, Colorado loses next week. Yeah, they play at Oregon next week, and then Southern Cal after that. So the losses stacking up soon for Colorado. I just checked Columbus weather, 76 and cloudy. Yep, it should be fine then. Should be fine. Carshawn Beck throws 4 touchdowns today. Yeah, it's Carstonian Beckworth. I don't care what everyone else calls him, but for me, it's Carstonian Beckworth. Florida versus Tennessee, closer than most expect, but Tennessee will win, says Joe Ford. Georgia 42, South Carolina 10. Yeah, that's close to what I had. I think I had, what did I have? 45-17 or something like that, or 45-13 or 48-17. Had somewhere in that range there. Why is game day at Colorado? Oh, they're trying to get sloppy seconds off of Fox Sports, who did their big noon kickoff at the Colorado game 2 weeks in a row when Colorado was actually playing Power 5 opponents in interesting games. today, Colorado's playing Colorado State at 10:30 at night. So a matchup against a Group of 5 team at 10:30 Eastern, a game nobody's going to watch. But game day is just pulling up the rear here. Sloppy seconds off a big noon kickoff. It's pitiful. Now, it's Florida's fault, right? It's Florida's fault. If Florida was any good at all, if Florida was a decent team or decent program, they'd be in Gainesville today for the Tennessee-Florida game. Because I'm old enough to remember when that game used to matter, but not anymore. Not anymore. Lucas says Carolina 45, Georgia 10. Well, there it is, ladies and gentlemen. The dumbest thing we'll hear today. I'm serious. That is absolute idiocy. 5-star dummy. That's absolute idiocy. All right, we're going to start adding these names to the wheel. Okay, we're going to start with what should we start with? We'll start with the PayPal. We'll start with the PayPal. Where is it? All right, here we go. How in the hell? All right, where's the wheel now? There's the wheel. There's the PayPal. All right. Hoghead. Hoghead is the first name on the wheel today. Hoghead, thank you for helping to support the College Kickoff Show today by hitting that PayPal link. We've got your name added to the wheel. Good luck to you, sir. He's going to take Kansas State if he wins. I like that pick. Colby's got another pick I like. He says Colorado covers. I like that pick too. Thank you, Colby. Swaggy Man. Got you on the wheel, Swaggy Man. Thank you for helping to support the show today. Let's see. Lou, did you see 5 or 6 days ago where that Dean Leggy character actually did a video from a couch in the middle of his lawn? Dude must be watching you religiously. Go Dogs. There was another funny one yesterday. This might be the one you're talking about. I'll pull it up and show it in a second because it's kind of hard to describe, but it's like it was him and one of the other guys that works with him or whatever, and they were in their backyard. This might be the one you're talking about. I don't know. They're in their backyard, and he's got some piece of furniture. It's 2 chairs that are connected to each other with a table built in between it. But the chairs are facing, like, away from each other. So they're sitting there doing this video in his backyard talking to each other, but, like, they're not even looking at each other. It's just really weird. But still, the funniest thing to me with Dean Leggy lately is that he's got that yard furniture in his office inside, and he sits in it. That's the funniest thing to me. He's got that plastic Adirondack chair in his office where he does most of his videos. And he's sitting in that plastic Adirondack chair behind his desk. That's the funniest part to me. Thank you, Joel. Let's get Joel on the wheel. Joel S. Yeah, there's a lot going on with the Dean Leggy. Whatever. It is what it is. Yeah. Christian D. Let's get Christian D on the wheel. I think Christian is his first name, not like he's not just letting us know his religious affiliation. I think it's actually his first name. He says, go Dogs, I'll take MSU to upset LSU. Well, you're going to get the points. You're going to get the points. Now, if they win the game, you win either way. But even if they don't win, if they just cover, you still win the bet. Thank you for helping to support the show, Christian. I appreciate that. After someone wins the first spin, just remove them for the second spin. Last week it kept landing on someone who wasn't even around. Yeah, but they didn't win, though. The spin just didn't count. The spin just didn't count. Turnbow? Travis Turnbow. Travis Turnbow. Wheel me, Louie. Give me Georgia. Hold the spread. Extra points. No mayo, please. I want the free shirt. Gotcha. Got you, boss. Good luck. Thank you for helping to support the show, man. I really appreciate it. Uncle Lou's white gorilla mask. Thank you for hitting the PayPal link to help support the show. He says, Gorilla Mask here. I think my comments are shadow banned on your streams, and I'm not allowed to super chat. What? Hold on. Hold on. Oops, it's the wrong one. Let's see. Did somebody time you out or what? That's not right either. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. List of hidden users. Let's see. If you're talking about the Uncle Lou's white gorilla mask, it's not on here. It's not on the list of. It's not on the list of hidden, blocked, or timed out users or whatever. So I'm not sure what's going on, but it's not on. There's only like 8 names on the blocked list, and that's not one of them. Let's get you on the wheel, though. I don't know what might be going on with that. Let me try resaving it and see if. But no, your name's not in there. Got you on the wheel, though, but I don't know what's going on with that. Try typing something in there now. I don't see any comments from you in the chat section either, so that's weird. Oh, wait a minute. I see it. It says, okay, never mind. I see it now. I see it. I see where you just typed, okay, never mind. I don't know what was going on earlier. You weren't on the list. I see you in there. It could have been something with YouTube. There was a couple of days last week where you couldn't view any of your, like I couldn't view my moderator list. I couldn't view the blocked user list. I don't know if there was something going on the back end with YouTube side or whatever. I emailed them about it, but of course they never email you back. But I just pulled up the list and it's on, and it's fixed, and your name wasn't on it. So I don't know what was going on, but you're on there now. That's all that matters. And we got your name on the wheel. That also matters. Almost forgot about that. That also matters. All right, I got all the PayPals added. Let's add the Cash App names, and then we can spin the wheel and see if y'all can pick some games right, and we'll attempt to give some money away. All right, let's see who we got on here. We got Ryan S. Let's put Ryan S.'s name on the wheel. All right, we got Mikey B. We got Carter H. We got Nicholas J. We got Joseph V. A couple of y'all sent 2. I see that on here, so we'll just add them together. JC Howell. I mean, JCH, but I think he puts his name in the comments anyway. Sir UGA, what's up, buddy? Oop. All right. There we go. Got everybody added. Good luck, everyone. Thank you for helping to support the show. Lou, learn how to spell, buddy, said Justin Farmer. What did I spell wrong? What did I spell wrong? Talking about the other Lou. Oh. Gotcha. Gorilla Man says, now I can super chat too. I wasn't able to do it before. It always gave me an error message. Yeah, I don't get that. I don't get that. All right. All right, time to spin the wheel. Well, let's see. Got to get a number first. Let's see. Let's go with all right. Okay, Robert. Go ahead, Robert. Pick a number 3 through 5. Go ahead, Robert. Three through 5. Robert says 4. All right. So, like I said, those of you who have been around for a while, you know how this works. We're going to spin the wheel 4 times. The 4th name is the winner. Spin number 1. Good luck to everybody. Spin number 1. Hogman. Spin number 2. Celebrity guest picker is The Rock today on College Game Day. Swaggy Man. Spin number 3. Looking for the 4th name. Christian D. Name number 4. Who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? Sir UJ or Hogman? Hogman. All right. Now, Hogman is a Tennessee fan. Let's see if he was brave enough to pick Tennessee. No. He's taking Kansas State. I like that pick, though. I like that Kansas State pick. Let's see. They were, was it 3.5, 4.5, 5.5? Something like that. Kansas State and Missouri. Kansas State at Missouri. Did I pass it already? There it is. Kansas State 3.5. All right. Where's my rigged wheel notes? Where's my notes for the rigged wheel? Not there. Is it here? Here it is. Rigged wheel, week 3. Hogman. K-State. -3.5. Good luck to you. Good luck to you, Hogman. All right, now we'll spin the wheel one more time and see if we can give a T-shirt away. We'll spin the wheel one more time, see if we can give a T-shirt away. Let's see. Sir UJ, pick a number. 2 through 4. 2 through 4 this time. Devin Perry, thank you for the super chat. He says, Lou, I have 2 tickets to the USC versus Colorado game. I can't go because I'm working in Korea. You want to give them away on your channel. I appreciate that, but I would rather not get in the middle of that, to be honest. 2 through 4. Sir UGA, pick a number, or I'm going to move on to somebody else. B Bean, pick a number, 2 through 4. He says 3. All right, we're going to spin the wheel 3 times this time. Third name is the winner. Free shirt. Who wants it? Who wants it? Who wants it? Who wants it? First name, Christian. Name number 2. Travis T. Name number 3. Free t-shirt. Who's it going to be? Free t-shirt. Sir UGA. Well, he didn't get to pick the number, but he gets the t-shirt. All right, Sir UGA, I have your phone number, so but email me is probably the best way to do it. Sir UGA, just email me. crazyunclelou@gmail.com. Is the link to the shirt store in the no, of course it's not. That would be just way too easy. All right, hold on. I'll post the link in the comment section to the t-shirt store so you know where to go. All right, Sir UJ, here's the link to the Uncle Lou t-shirt store. Head on over there, pick you out a shirt, send me an email, let me know what size you want and where to send it. Good luck to Hogman. He has Kansas State minus 3.5. And good luck to everybody's team today, except South Carolina. Unfortunately, you're playing Georgia today, and I need you to lose. But I hope the rest of your teams win today. Enjoy your Saturday of college football. Week 3. I'll be back at 3:30 to stream all the afternoon games. So if y'all are going to be home watching college football this afternoon, come on back to the channel at 3:30. We have a great time watching these games. We hang out in the comments section, chat about all the games that are coming on. We have a really, really good time. Come hang out with us at 3:30. Watch all the afternoon games, including Georgia, South Carolina. Tonight's Patreon stream will start as soon as the Georgia, South Carolina game ends. Which will probably be sometime between 7 and 7:30. So we'll shut the stream down when the Georgia-South Carolina game ends right here on YouTube, and we will start a Patreon stream for the primetime game. So everybody that's a member over on the Patreon page, you know the deal. I'll post a link on the Patreon page around 7:15 or 7:30. When you go to the Patreon page, it'll be the first post on there. It'll say Week 3 Patreon stream, and there'll be a link. Just click that link, and it will take you to the Patreon stream for tonight's primetime games. If you want to hang out tonight and watch the games and you're not signed up on the Patreon page, there is a link in the description of the video to the Patreon page. You can click on that link and have yourself a look around. And I hope to see y'all back this afternoon and tonight, and we'll hang out and watch these games. Good luck to everybody. Enjoy your college football Saturday, and I'll see you this afternoon at 3:30. Have a good morning.